can't eat homemade food made by poor people like you. I want high-end sushi." Her words stopped me in the middle of preparing dinner. "Poor people," you said. Her words completely changed the atmosphere. Her voice had a hint of a smile, making her words even sharper. I placed my hand on the kitchen counter, momentarily at a loss for words. "Someone like you as a mother-in-law is the worst. But I'm trying to bear with it because your son is an elite and your husband runs a company." She seemed unaware of how heavy her words were, making the atmosphere even more uncomfortable. I took a deep breath, trying to regain my composure. I've worked hard to keep this family together and maintain a close bond, but with just a single word, my efforts were trampled by my son's new wife. Still, because she was the first woman my son had ever brought home, I wanted to believe she wasn't that bad. Then, my husband David, who had been silent, stood up and said one word that froze the room again. "My name is Lisa Scott. I live with my husband David and our 2 sons James and Adam. I've been a stay-at-home mom dedicated to raising our children. This is partly because I grew up not knowing the love of a family during my own childhood. When I was 3 years old, my parents divorced and I started living with my mother. That life was marked by extreme poverty. My mother worked tirelessly to support me, but we were always struggling financially. Our dinner table had the same menu every night and my mother's face always showed signs of exhaustion. Despite everything, she poured love into me, celebrating my successes and happiness with me. However, I didn't realize the toll this took on her health. The year I entered elementary school, my mother fell seriously ill. The illness was prolonged and she couldn't work anymore, worsening our situation. I was separated from my mother and had to live in a children's home. Life in the institution meant overcoming many challenges alone. Surrounded by kids with various backgrounds, I learned a lot from that experience. The pain of being separated from family and the strength needed to live independently were lessons I had to learn. These experiences taught me the value of family time and how precious and irreplaceable it is. That's why I wanted to provide warmth and stability for my own children. Having lost my mother so suddenly, I resolved to always shower my children with love and provide them security. David started his business when I was pregnant with James. At first, we had modest earnings, and we weren't wealthy, but our time together as a family was always so happy.
"Lisa, I think the business is finally starting to take off."
My husband told me this just before our younger son Adam started elementary school. His words gave me hope that our lives were starting to change. Once the business started to stabilize, we found ourselves more financially comfortable. We made sure the boys had all the experiences they wanted, and we traveled a lot as a family. Cherishing family time, our children grew up quickly.
"Mom, Dad, I did it. I got in."
I still remember the excitement in James' voice when he told us the news. "That's amazing! You worked so hard!" My husband and I smiled. Supported by his family, James got into a prestigious university and later secured a job at a top company. Meanwhile, Adam, who excelled in sports, was accepted into his desired university on a sports scholarship.
"Mom, I get to keep playing soccer in college."
I was so proud of my 2 sons for achieving their dreams on their own.
"Thanks to you and Dad, I got this far."
When Adam expressed his gratitude, my heart was filled with warmth. And then a big change was about to happen. I remember that day well. James was 25 at the time.
"Mom, there's someone I want to introduce to you. She'll come over next weekend."
Already? I thought, realizing he was at that age. I guessed he wanted to introduce a woman, and I felt both a bit excited and a bit anxious. A few days later, he brought a woman to our house. Her name was Mary. Mary was tall, with a bright and articulate way of speaking. She was beautiful. From the moment I met her, I was impressed by her cheerfulness and manners. "Hi, I'm Mary. Nice to meet you." "Hi, Mary. I've heard a lot about you. James thinks highly of you." "Yes, he has been wonderful to me. I'm so glad to finally meet you." We sat in the living room, enjoying tea and chatting. "Mary, what do you do for work?" She enthusiastically started talking about her job. "I'm in design, mainly focusing on interior design." "Oh, that sounds creative." "Yes, it's about making spaces beautiful and functional." "Sounds like a wonderful job. Creative work is always full of new challenges. It must be fun." "Yes, every day is full of new discoveries." As the conversation flowed, I began to feel like Mary was a daughter I had known for a long time. There was a natural warmth in her manner, and I quickly started to feel like she was part of the family. But then, I saw a side of her that I hadn't expected. When James left to use the bathroom and Davis stepped out to take a call, Mary's expression suddenly changed. Her cheerful demeanor disappeared, replaced by a cold, thoughtful look. Worried, I asked her, "Are you okay?" "What do you mean?" Nothing, it's just that your expression changed for a moment. Oh, it's nothing. Then she pointed to the dessert on the table and said, Where did you get this cake? It tastes so cheap. Excuse me? I have a favorite bakery. Next time, I'll bring some. You won't want to eat anything else after that. She spoke in a slightly sarcastic tone while poking at the cake with her fork. I was surprised and a bit hurt by her words, but I stayed silent until James and David returned. When James returned and David finished his call, Mary's expression brightened again, as if nothing had happened. I chose not to dig into the topic further that night, but was left with a sense of unease. A little while later, Adam arrived late.
I'm home.
I greeted him while observing his mood. Welcome back, Adam. You're late. Is everything okay?
Yeah, just a bit.
I asked, and he replied, looking tired. When he entered the living room, Mary stood up to greet him enthusiastically. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary. I've heard so much about you from James. I felt she was very sociable, quite the opposite of the unease I felt earlier.
Oh yeah, nice to meet you too.
He extended his hand to shake hers, but there was a stiffness to it, revealing his fatigue. With Adam joining us, we gathered around the table again. The conversation was mostly led by James and Mary, with Adam saying very little. Mary tried to engage Adam occasionally, but he remained unresponsive, keeping the conversation short. You play soccer in college, right? What position do you play?
Forward.
That's cool. Soccer requires great teamwork, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Adam's responses were brief, almost indifferent. Mary didn't seem to notice or care as she continued talking about her college days. I was in the volleyball club in college. I think team unity is really important, don't you?
Yeah, I guess.
The conversation didn't really pick up, and Adam suddenly stood up.
Hey, where are you going? My fiancé is here. So what? Don't you think that's rude? Not really.
The tension in the room was palpable.
I'm tired. I need some sleep.
His voice had a hint of irritation.
Alright, fine. Good night.
James seemed annoyed with Adam's behavior, but I noticed something. As Adam walked away, Mary glared at his back and made a clicking noise with her tongue. I began to wonder if she had other intentions, carefully watching her. Her expression tightened briefly, but quickly changed back. It's been a long day. I think I'll head home now.
Alright, I'll take you home.
With that, our first meeting ended. After seeing James and Mary off, I turned to my husband and shared my concerns. What do you think of her?
She seems cheerful and nice.
But don't you think it's odd how Adam acted? Isn't that unusual for him?
Everyone feels things differently. Let's give it some time.
I tried to reassure myself to trust James's choice, while still feeling cautious about Mary's behavior and words. That night, the house was quiet. I sat on the sofa in the living room, reflecting on the day's events. What does James see in her? While I was still pondering, Adam entered the living room.
Mom, can I talk to you for a bit?
Sure. What's on your mind? He hesitated, choosing his words carefully.
Mom, that girl, Mary, I don't think she and I get along. James seems to like her a lot, but I just don't get a good feeling.
Why do you feel that way?
It's not something specific, just a feeling.
I understand what you mean. I couldn't help but agree with Adam's sentiment.
I've met a lot of people and gut feelings matter. She smiles on the surface, but I feel like she has another side.
I feel the same. Not to speak ill of her, but there's something about her.
I don't want to upset James, but I can't shake this feeling.
Our conversation continued for a while. Adam clearly didn't like her, and my own feelings of unease seemed validated. The next morning, there was tension at the breakfast table. When Mary's name came up, Adam's face hardened.
James, what do you even see in her? Stop it, Adam. Why do I have to explain myself to you? Mind your own business. Come on, it's weird. Mom feels it too. I don't care what Mom said. I like Mary.
Their argument grew more heated, forcing me to intervene. Enough, both of you. That's not how you should talk to each other. Adam calmed down a bit, but James still seemed upset. I tried to soothe the situation. Adam, it's important to respect who James chooses, but I also can't dismiss what you felt, right?
Right, Mom. You felt something was off about Mary, too.
I did feel a bit of discomfort, but that doesn't mean that's everything.
What do you and Adam know? I'm the one who knows Mary best.
After a while, Adam nodded.
All right.
As breakfast ended, the atmosphere lightened slightly, but Adam's worried expression didn't fully go away. Despite some ups and downs, James and Mary eventually got married. For their first holiday as newlyweds, they planned to stay over, and I decided to prepare lunch and dinner. I had confidence in my cooking, so I carefully prepared dishes, starting the day before. The next day, just before noon, "Hello, everyone. It's been a while." James and Mary walked into the living room, their eyes lighting up at the sight of the food laid out on the table. "Wow, this looks amazing. I've never seen such a feast before." "Thank you, Mary. I made this specially to celebrate your marriage." "Thank you so much. I feel so blessed." I wanted to believe those words came from her heart. We began to eat together. "Oh, the stew! These fried dishes! Everything looks delicious. I can't decide where to start." "Mary, I'm looking forward to spending more time with you as a family." "Me too." She smiled sweetly. "I'm truly happy. Can you teach me your recipes sometime?" "Of course, anytime." My initial reservations about her seemed to fade. However, during the meal, something happened that brought back my suspicions. While Mary and I were in the kitchen together, her demeanor changed. "These plates are a bit old, aren't they?" "What?" "Maybe you should find some new ones." I felt uneasy about her comment. These were the plates we had been using since we got married, and they held sentimental value. Also, her tone was somewhat disrespectful. "These plates have been with us since we got married. They might be old, but they are full of memories." "Oh, I see. Or maybe you can't afford new ones? So all that talk about family heirlooms is just because you can't buy new stuff, right?" You. Then she mumbled something under her breath. "Serve sushi." "What?" She glanced around to make sure no one else could hear and whispered coldly, "I can't eat homemade food made by poor people like you. I want high-end sushi." I was stunned by her words and her cold stare. Poor people? You said that?" My voice rose unintentionally, drawing the attention of James, Adam, and David. "It's nothing." She quickly tried to dismiss it, but I couldn't stay silent any longer. "You called us poor, didn't you?" She clicked her tongue, looking at me with disdain.
"See? The mask comes off. Why did you marry James anyway? Hey, Adam! You're only after James and Dad's money, aren't you? Calm down, Adam. Didn't you hear what Mom said? She's out of her mind."
The argument escalated between James and Adam. I tried to calm things down, but the tension was about to explode. "Come on, both of you, calm down. There's no need to fight on a day like this." But Adam wouldn't back down and pressed Mary further.
"What did you say to Mom? Tell us everything."
"It was just a joke, okay? No need to get so upset." I wasn't satisfied with that response. "Mary, even as a joke, that's not something you should say."
"Yeah, Mary. What's your real reason for marrying James?"
She refused to answer.
"Come on, don't just stand there. Answer me."
The truth is, James had always been somewhat introverted, and his marriage to someone as outgoing as Mary had seemed odd to me. "Don't be so angry. I married James because I like him. What else could it be?"
"Don't be ridiculous. If you really liked him, you wouldn't say things like that about his family."
"Well, I'm sorry for telling the truth." She let out a big sigh and continued. "I know your mom grew up poor, right? Must have been tough." Her voice carried a sharp edge, and I was momentarily speechless. My children knew my upbringing, and it seemed Mary had asked James about what kind of person I was. "He said you were a very kind mother who endured a lot of hardships." Her tone had a mocking ring, which hurt deeply.
"Hey, don't say stuff like that to Mom. It's rude."
"Why? It's true. Having someone like you as a mother-in-law is the worst. But James is an elite, and your husband runs a company, so I thought I'd just put up with it." His face went pale as he heard her speak.
"Are you serious right now?"
"But honestly, I find Adam more my type."
"Are you kidding me?"
Adam shouted as he stood up. Adam seemed more furious than James. I could no longer bear to stay in that room. I stood up and confronted Mary. "Mary, what do you think this family is to you?" She kept her composed expression. "If what you're saying is true, that's something I can't overlook." Without any sign of remorse, she replied, "I'm just telling it like it is. The world runs on money and appearances." My heart ached. Family isn't about those things. "Well, I never asked to be part of this family." "Don't you understand how much we care about you?" "I'm just being realistic." James's complexion changed dramatically. "Sorry, but this is who I am. Sorry, James." James became even angrier at her words.
"Enough. There's no point in saying anything more.
I sat down, pondering how this family could return to peace. Every word from Mary had wounded us deeply. I still had no answer to how we could get through this. My husband, who had been quiet until now, suddenly sighed deeply. He abruptly stood up, took out his phone, and started making a call. The room fell silent, and only his voice echoed. After ending the call, he declared,
"We're done today. Never come to our house again. I'll let Larry know."
She looked at him in shock. "Who's Larry?"
"Do you not even know your own father's name?"
"Dad?" He sighed deeply and calmly explained.
"Larry is an old friend of mine. He knows your mother well, too."
I was confused by my husband's words and asked him, "You're friends with her father? What's going on?" After a slight hesitation, he began to reveal the truth.
"Larry is a close friend of Mary's uncle. He's also a business owner, and we've been business associates. Mary's mother and I met back when our family was still struggling financially. Back then, Mary's mother looked down on us for our poverty. I found it very unpleasant, but I kept quiet for the sake of my friend's happiness." "So that's why you kept avoiding meeting her parents?" "Yes. When James and Mary decided to marry, we never had a proper family introduction. I kept delaying it, saying I had work conflicts, until they eventually got married without a formal introduction. But really, it was because I didn't want to meet Mary's mother."
"Why didn't you tell us about her mother?" He raised his voice, looking agitated.
"Why become family with someone you dislike so much? Because it was James's choice. It was up to him, not me. And because she's my friend's daughter. I didn't want my feelings to get in the way of their happiness. I've known Mary since she was a child, and I wanted to support her and James."
"So you didn't tell us because you were trying to protect the family?"
"Exactly. But any insult to our family is unacceptable. Larry is coming here now, and I'll tell him everything that happened today. From now on, you're no longer a part of this family." She collapsed onto the sofa, devastated. A few minutes later, the doorbell rang, and David went to answer the door. A few moments later, the door to the living room opened, and Mary's parents walked in. Her mother's face showed her nervousness. My sons and I sat on the living room sofa, holding our breath in anticipation of what would happen next. "I called you here because there's something I need to talk about. I can't forgive her and her mother's behavior." Larry looked around in surprise before returning his gaze to Mary. "Mary, what did you do?" She looked confused but answered, "Dad, I didn't do anything wrong." "There's no way you did nothing. Speak up!" I intervened firmly. "Mary, even if you think you're just being honest, you can't say things that hurt others." "Who did I hurt?" "Your words hurt us all deeply." "My daughter can say whatever she wants. That's her freedom." "You be quiet. Do you understand how hurtful your words were?" "But Dad, Get out, both of you, right now." She looked shocked and confused. "Why, Dad? Why are you saying this?" I tried to mediate. "Larry, if she has a reason for saying what she did, let's hear it." "You two need to learn the hard way. Go make a living on your own. As of today, you are no longer welcome in my house." "Where are we supposed to go?" "I don't care. You had enough warnings. It's time for you to grow up." I was stunned by what I was hearing. I didn't expect things to turn out this way. "I'll take care of them, but they need to learn. They need to understand the value of money and the importance of family. They can't keep relying on me forever. Let them face the world and see what it's like to earn their own living. That's how they'll learn to respect others." The room fell silent. "You're right. I've been too lenient. But now they'll have to fend for themselves." "I'm sorry, Dad. I understand." Despite her apology, Mary's mother remained defiant. "Mary, learn from this. Change your behavior. Apologize sincerely to those you've hurt." "I will. I'm sorry." "From now on, you're on your own. That's final." She began to cry, but Larry remained firm. "I feel sorry for her, but I agree. She needs to change." "Right. She has to learn that actions have consequences. That's how she'll grow up. If she truly values family, she'll make amends." Larry and Mary left the house, leaving behind a family still reeling from the confrontation. My husband sat down, addressing James and Adam. "James, I owe you an apology. I should have listened to you and Mom about Mary." "It's okay, Dad. I get it now. I'll be more careful in the future." "That's all we need to hear." The three of us shared a moment of understanding. Later, we heard that Mary and her mother had moved to a small apartment in the city. They were working part-time jobs, living modestly but peacefully. For James, it was a tough experience, but it helped him grow. He met someone new at work, a woman named Erica. She wasn't flashy, but was well respected for her calm demeanor and grace. James and Erica's relationship developed slowly over time. "Mom, Dad, there's someone I want to introduce to you." That's great news, son. I met her at work. Can I invite her over sometime?
Of course, I'd love to meet her. A few days later, Erica visited our home.
Nice to meet you. I'm Erica. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Erica. It's nice to meet you too. David was impressed with her composed manner. We had a pleasant dinner together, and I felt a genuine warmth from her. Her politeness and choice of topics showed her respect and consideration for others. Adam, too, had found love. He married a lively and athletic woman named Maggie, whom he met at university. Maggie was passionate about soccer and had been the captain of her college soccer team. The two were drawn to each other through their love of sports, and their bond only grew stronger after graduation. David's company continued to thrive, and we enjoyed a stable and comfortable life. A few years later, we were blessed with grandchildren. Being able to shower them with love and watch them grow was a great joy for me. One Sunday, while the family was gathered for a barbecue, the yard was filled with children's laughter. Watching this scene, I was filled with emotion. The family has grown so much, hasn't it?
It really has.
Next to me, Adam and Maggie were chatting cheerfully. Both of your sons are kicking the ball around now. Yes, they seem to love physical activities. It'll be exciting to see what the future holds. Watching my sons and grandchildren play together, I felt a warmth I never experienced as a child. David smiled beside me.
This is a scene I could never have imagined when we were young.
True. It was tough back then, but I feel like it's all been worth it. In the evening, we moved back to the living room, reminiscing about the past. We held hands and vowed to continue strengthening our family bonds. Though each of us walked different paths, we were reminded of the value of time spent together as a family.